Welcome back to Terror by the Bay. I'm David, coming to you live, taped in front of a live studio audience, which would be Michelle upstairs, coming to you from Mendocino. Michelle and I are spending a few days up in Mendocino over Christmas, just relaxing, taking it easy, and coasting to the end of 2023. 2024 is going to be a wild year, so gear up, folks. We're about to get into choppy waters here. Okay. Looking at just a couple of news stories here. One of them is going to be on Donald Trump and his nickname for Nikki Haley is now Bird Brain, because of course it is. Information just came out. There was a poll in New Hampshire showing that Donald Trump leads in New Hampshire as the Republican candidate they want the most with 33%. The problem is Nikki Haley is second with 29%, and there's a 4% margin of error in that poll. So that would be effectively a statistical dead heat between the two of them. As you can imagine, Trump was not thrilled with this, took to his fake media account and said, fake New Hampshire poll was released on Bird Brain. Just another scam, ratings challenged, Fox News will play it to the hilt. Sununu, now one of the least popular governors in the U.S., real poll to follow. In other words, Trump's going to have to pay a bunch of money to get a fake poll put out there to show that he's got like 98% of the vote or whatever it is. Remember, with polls, if you can get like 60% or 70% of people agreeing, that's about as much as you can get. If you were to take a poll and say, is the sun yellow? Is the sky blue? You'd be lucky to get more than 70%. If you ask if the Earth was a sphere, there's going to be a certain percentage of the population that screamed up and down that it's flat. That's just the society we live in. But, she's closed the gap. She's got backing from some powerful conservatives, and let's see what happens. Okay, so let's get the energy around this. Nikki Haley, Donald Trump, and the New Hampshire poll. What can you tell us about the spirit? Entertainment purposes only. Six of Swords. Moving from choppy water to calm water. You know what this might be? Is that maybe, just maybe, the folks in New Hampshire are a little tired of the drama. And they want a more reasonable candidate. And it could be that with all the turmoil going on in the world right now between Russia invading Ukraine and Hamas rocket attacking Israel, and Israel sending ground troops to pummel Hamas, and then news is coming out that Israel is dropping bombs in areas that they said there would be no bombs dropped. Maybe. And now China, I'm sure China is going to probably saber rattle Taiwan quite a bit. And then we've got Venezuela and Guyana, mispronouncing it. You've got that little skirmish that potentially is going to happen over there. I think people just want things that are calmed down. And the Chariot, they want a calmer campaign. They want the U.S. to progress forward, but in a calmer, less dramatic fashion. And maybe they think that Nikki Haley, with her international experience, because I believe she was the ambassador to the UN, she's got some credentials to help her along. And who helped her get to that ambassadorship? Well, I believe it would be Donald Trump who did that. Underneath the energy underneath it all is the Ten of Swords. I think Donald Trump is starting to panic a little bit. He seems to have a big lead in Iowa, at least according to whatever the polls are for whatever those polls are. But I think that, Donald Trump's going to have his own poll. There's been a lot of speculation that Trump pays for polls, and then the polls that Trump pays for gives him the answers that he wants. Where have we heard that before? And so now there's going to be a new poll in New Hampshire, and I'm sure it's going to show Trump with 50% of the vote, and Nikki Haley's got like 15% or something along those lines. But I think Trump is starting to get really scared that his campaign may be running out of steam. This might be the end of his campaign. He wasn't expecting her to be doing so well. Yeah, in the past we got the magician card. Trump just manifesting whatever he wants, and if he can't manifest it, well, you might as well make an illusion of it. I would be very curious to see how the New Hampshire election turns out. We only have like 3 weeks. I think it's January 19th or something like that, or January 26th is when New Hampshire gets voted on. So it's coming up really quickly. And he's going to have to pull something out of a hat here. Or this could just be illusion that he's had fake polls to convince people in New Hampshire that he's the winner. But he might be losing his grip, his position, or maybe the truth is coming out on his position. Knight of Wands. The campaign is moving on. The energy is kind of moving on. And you've got the Chariot card and the Knight of Wands here. And I think people want to move on. They want to move on. They want to get away from the drama that is Trump. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. It's a cautious moving. It's not quick. This is cautious. But I think people are starting to think, and maybe all this news about Trump is finally getting people to sort of, maybe look twice at that candidate. Yeah, there we go. And the news that's the problem is everything that the Justice Department's doing. He just got booted out of Colorado. You've got court cases for January 6th. You've got court cases for the Mar-a-Lago documents. You've got court cases for the civil trial. You've got the perfect phone call with Brad Raffensperger in the civil trial. Now you've got the phone call for what happened in Michigan, Motor City, with your Chariot right there. There's going to be a lot of concern and uncertainty with Donald Trump's availability to fight off all these court cases. And people might finally start to be showing a little bit of caution towards it. Lesson we learn is the Ace of Cups. One of the other reasons they maybe want a calmer candidate is they're just exhausted. They're emotionally wiped out. Trump relies on hitting people's emotions and hitting their emotions. And maybe they just, for once, want a calm, sensible candidate. A candidate that's going to go forward and get stuff done. Maybe you'll follow the law, What a novel concept. The outcome is the Hanged Man. People are starting to give Nikki Haley a serious look. Probably she's done fairly well in the debates. I haven't watched any of the debates. But I think folks are giving her a serious look. And she's got backing from people. And Trump is starting to panic. And he's panicking with good reason. Because in his mind, and he's probably right, he needs to be elected the president to help him get out of the legal bind that he's in with multiple court cases. And here comes Nikki Haley screwing that all up. Why bird brain? Let's see. So yeah, he has to attack her intelligence. What does Trump attack? He attacks height. He attacks strength. He attacks energy. And he attacks intelligence. So with Nikki Haley, he decided to go with intelligence. With DeSantis, he went over height. With Biden, he's gone on intelligence, on energy, excuse me. Intelligence too, but energy mostly. Man, woman, person, camera, TV, right? Can you call her a bird brain? Dear God. All right. Why is Trump going after Nikki Haley's intelligence? What does he think that's going to do for the voting public? Oh, Empress is jumping out here. He's just attacking her because she's a woman. I think it's going to be that chauvinistic, men are dominant, men are smarter, boys are smarter than girls, Shall we go back to first grade? God. He acts like a spoiled 6-year-old, right? All right. So why is he going after Nikki Haley's intelligence? What does he think that's going to do for his voters? Why does he think that'll turn people off? He had to think of something quickly because she's catching him in the polls. So now he has to go on the offensive. And he's having some money problems. Probably because of all the trials that he's got going on here. But, he's got to raise a lot of money from these poor people. He gives them pennies and they give him dollars. So he's got to stay on top and keep that money coming in. But he had to act quickly because the election's moving on and she's gaining on him. I think all the court cases are grinding him down, which is costing him money, as well as, time and effort. He can't campaign. And Nikki, I was commenting in that previous spread how it was a slow grind. There was no speed in it. Here's your speed card right there. To Trump, she's come out of nowhere. And he's got to protect himself to keep himself out of jail. Yeah, okay, 5 of Swords in the past. He thought he had this thing sewn up. He absolutely was convinced that he had this thing. I'm a little bit off camera here, aren't I? Sorry about that. 5 of Swords in the past. He thought he had this campaign sewn up. It was done and dusted. But all of a sudden, here comes this hard-charging Nikki Haley. And he's got to do something about it because the campaign is, it's going to be done this year. And it's going to be done by summertime. Current situation, Ace of Pentacles. I don't think that's health related. I think this, again, is money related. Why is he attacking? Why does he... I guess anytime he attacks, he fundraises. So like he's fundraising off the Supreme Court currently. He's got to attack her because he's got to keep money coming in. Money, it's almost like this election is secondary in his mind to running out of money. His money is getting taken away. That's part of it. This is the civil trial where he's going to be paying hundreds of millions of dollars in New York. And if he doesn't have his money as his foundation or his base to launch his campaign from, he's gutted because he can't fight things in court. He'll be bankrupt in no time at all. So he's got to come up with ways to get new money. And he's going to go to his tried and true small donors to get it from him. And so he will say and do the most outrageous things in order to keep the money coming in because he knows that works. Play to these people's worst traits. And they will continue to hand him money. Yeah, he's got Jack Smith on his mind. He absolutely has Jack Smith on his mind because Smith is coming for him. And he's doing everything he can to hold off Jack Smith, trying to get to this presidency here. And he basically thinks he can buy his way into it. Outcome, betrayal. He may not get the money he needs. His followers may not be economically capable of supporting him. He's losing the bigger donors. He lost a bunch of big donors to DeSantis. And Nikki Haley's now getting all those traditional conservative big donors like the Koch brothers and their PAC and such. Of course, for him, he would have said that he made Nikki Haley and her running's a betrayal to him. But I think his followers aren't going to be able to financially support him. Maybe they feel betrayed. Okay, so I asked why he called her bird brain, and I didn't get the answer. What I got was the emotions that he has towards Nikki Haley and her campaign. So this is that... The Ten of Swords on that previous spread was the underlying energy. This is everything that's driving that underlying energy in that previous spread. He is concerned about cash, and he's concerned about cash big time. So let's ask, flat out, is his base not giving him enough money to fundraise? Is he losing money faster than he's taking it in? Is he going to run out? How do I want to ask this? Will Trump's expectations for donations from his base fall short? I don't think his expectations fall short. Will Trump's base's delivery of funds fall short of Donald Trump's expectations? That's what I'm trying to say. I haven't been drinking at all today, honest. Ossifer, I've only had no drinks. Breathe on him. All right. I love Mendocino, by the way. If you've never been, you should come up. It's a beautiful place. My grandmother was raised up here as a child. My great-grandfather on that side of the family worked in the lumber camps and was a laborer for much of his life. All right, here we go. Family secrets. All right, will Trump's base not meet his expectations for financial support for his campaign? Ace of Wands, I think he's trying to beat that money out of him. But we got problems. We got the court cases here. Yeah. This one was the card making me go, a couple of, the first thought was, does Trump leave? And that kind of does it, but I don't think that's quite it. He's trying to get, he's definitely trying to shake money from the money tree. He is hitting the money tree hard. But the problem is that he's not getting any new donors. He's gone to the well so many times with these donors, their money's dried up. It's gone dark. One of the things they said about Kevin McCarthy, with McCarthy going down to kiss the ring in January, the end of January of 2021, was because McCarthy, since he opted to not certify the election and object to the certification of the election, a lot of big corporations that donated money to Republicans, including McCarthy, stopped donating to him. So he was panicking that the one thing he brought to the Republican Party, which is his fundraising, was now gone. So what good is he? How is he ever going to be Speaker of the House if the one thing that they count on him for isn't there anymore? So he went down to Mar-a-Lago to get Trump's list of small donors. And in order to get that, he basically had to sell his soul to Trump, as the story goes. But I think what's happening here is Trump's small donors, they're done. They can't do anymore. We've given, I gave at the office. I've bought 23 of your hats. I've done my part. It's time for somebody else to do their part. And the money's gone dark. He doesn't have that money from these folks anymore. And maybe some aren't going to give him anymore because of the court cases. Some of them, they watched what happened to the January 6th insurrection and all the trials. And, they might just hold on to their money because Trump said he was going to spring all these people and set them free. That was going to be his big action. He never did. He promised him he was going to do it, but he never backed up his promise. And I think people are starting to figure him out a little bit. And I think these folks are in some financial troubles. Interest rates went up a lot in 2023. For those who don't follow it, car repossession rates are, if they're not at all-time high, they're really close, to the point where the only reason why they're not higher than during the big economic crash in 2008 or so, 2009, is because the finance companies, they can't get enough repo guys to actually repo the cars. So people have been driving around with cars they have to make car payments on 3 or 4 months. They could get repossessed any time, but there's not enough repo guys to get all the cars. Folks at the auto auctions aren't paying the money because they already have cars on the lot they can't sell, so they can't get new cars in there. They don't have the cash flow to do it. And before the 2008-2009 crash, that was one of the things that was happening, where that car loans were starting to get defaulted on. And it means money is tight for folks, and they have to make a choice. Do you make your house payment, or do you make your car payment? And for most people, they have positive equity in their house, and their car, they're probably upside down. They got some stimulus money, They bought a car during the pandemic, and car prices got marked up a lot. If you don't know what I'm talking about yet, if you've not been in the car market, you may not understand that. If you've been in the car market, you probably completely understand how crazy car prices were, both new and used. And they overpaid, and now interest rates, especially if they were on a variable loan, have gone through the roof, and they can't make their car payments and their house payments. So they don't make their car payment, and they're underwater on their car. So there's a disincentive to make that payment. So that Nine of Swords could very well be that they are cash strapped. They're in some financial dire straits. And I had a reading done the other day with this woman, Liz, who channels an entity named Ruthie. And this is 2 years in a row that Ruthie has really advised for getting back to basics and keeping things simple and basic as far as your expenses. She thinks that 2024 is just going to be a very difficult financial year for a lot of people. So, take that for how you like. Liz and Ruthie have been great to me as far as readings go. I think she's been very consistent and accurate. So I share that guidance with you. If you can put off a purchase and it makes financial sense to put it off for a little bit and you're comfortable with that, go for it. If you can't put it off, you don't have to. But keep a mind on 2024 maybe being a tight money year, and carry yourself accordingly, and hopefully that will make if it truly does become a tough financial year, you'll be better prepared for it. Okay. All right, thank you, everyone. I'll end the reading here with this one. So what did we learn? Trump's scared. He thinks his campaign's coming to an end. Nikki Haley's come out of nowhere, and from his point of view, and is overtaking him. He's running out of money. He's not getting money fast enough. He's got all these court cases and everything else, and I think his funding is dried up, and he's trying to shake his base for more and more money. They just don't have it to give, because they've overspent the last several years and they've got nothing left. They barely have anything for themselves, much less giving this guy $45 a month. So, live simply, be happy. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you for all your kind words and your likes and your shares and everything you do to help feed the YouTube algorithm so that my video makes it out to a wider audience. To new folks to the channel, folks discovering me for the first time, welcome to the channel. Glad you found us. Hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.